Greetings, greetings. Leave it. But it's on live on YouTube, so me call it back, yeah? Me call it back. Give me, me call it back. Yeah, me know, me call it. So I'm here. Me call it back. Greetings, greetings, greetings. I just got a call from on the phone. So I was planning to just end it and start it over, but figure more or less that I can just answer and that's it. All right. So today is a overall overarching topic. Today we're talking about men empowerment and the position of men here in society as it exists. Now, I live within. Oh, by the way, thank you very much for tuning in to my live stream. I'm here for the next hour and a few minutes. I hope that you enjoy the discussion. Remember to subscribe and also to share and to like as we go along. All right, cool. So Saturday night is my regular night. Yes, it's my face. During the week, you just hear me as I talk. Saturday night, you see my face, right? Every morning from Sunday to Friday, I'm on between 6 and 8. I pick out an hour out of that and we do a little live, right? Okay, so for today's live, we're talking about men empowerment. Now, at first, when we think about the role of men in society, you would say that men, a lot of women will say that men usually have this overarching attitude as if they actually run the world, and it was a problem stemming from the early 1920s, coming to the 40s until 60s. They had this feminist movement, and women started to actually assert themselves, and they became the whole certain position in society that they never held before, and that's awesome. As a result of women holding a certain position, there has been this what I call it dynamic and twist and fight and struggle between well, I would say it's a fight and struggle between men and women as far as actually getting certain position within the workplace, getting certain position within school. There's this thing where they call a class barrier, where societal class barrier, where a person would normally say rich and the poor, but it's not only the rich and the poor. It has also to do with race. It also have to do with male and female. So there are struggles. There are real struggles. All right, so I speak about some of the struggles in which I actually know as far as where I'm at in Jamaica. Okay, so I live in Jamaica, and according to the what I call it, those persons who actually monitor the economics of a country, they regard Jamaica as not really being poor. So it is like a middle lower income country. So for those persons whom give me a sec, give me a sec, give me a sec, give me a sec. All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're talking about the whole idea of men empowerment and the position of men in society. Okay, so as it is right now, women would say that men practically hold most of the important positions in the world. However, if you as a man do look at it, you will realize that a lot of the the seriousness that exists in how men actually should behave in society is being lost as a result of uh, a social degradation of how men actually think of themselves these days. I don't know if this exists where you are at, but I'm talking about where I'm at, right? So within the social space, I'm talking mostly sociology tonight. Yes, it's a fish keeping channel, but I also have to do with society, and you will see how fish keeping actually ties in to what I'm saying. All right, so um living to a community early years, um growing up, right? Nice community at first, and then now they started to have this division, this barrier, the situation where in which I am over on this side of the community, and those persons on this side of the community must not come on this side. A sense of rulership, right? Gunmanship, a sense of badmanism, if there's any word like that, right? Comes into play. So when your mother send you to school, you can't really walk that way to go to the bus stop. You have to walk that way. And going to school, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a teacher. One of your friends, when you're coming home in the evening, your friends say, "Hey, come here and try this." And you start to smoke, you start to gamble, you start to hide the guns, and because the smaller you are, police won't search you. Police will allow you to go through, and you can hide the gun for the guys, right? Boom. So over time, you get to like it, and then getting to like it, what you find? You find that you are actually gravitating to this way of life, right? They have, hey, just Munoz, hey, boss, big up yourself. Today we're talking about sociological aspect. I am emphasizing the whole idea of the rational. I am the G. Nice to see you, boss. I'm talking about the whole rationalization as to why the empowerment effort on my part as far as men can't cook. Now, I launched a challenge the other day. Men can cook, where in which men actually on their own channel, they prepare a meal, a full course meal, to show, listen, I can cook, and the rest of the details is in the whole presentation tonight. So I hope that you guys, as much as possible, will stay in and will listen as to where all this is coming from. All right. So I go up into a community where in which as I said before, you have the guns, you have the drugs. Buddhas! Men are the best cooks, especially when you buy it at Popeyes and KFC, right? Right, Munoz? All right, cool. And Burger King, sorry, Burger King, and all those fancy places, right? Cool. But I'm getting to the meat of the matter as to the reason why the empowerment challenge, the empowerment initiative have been actually been driven by me, and I'm so passionate about this going forward into 2021. Being it that I have actually been able to connect to those persons in who I'm talking about. No problem, brother, no problem. Serve the cereal and show me how you make your cereal. Do you have Fruit Loops with your frosted flakes, or your chocolate with your box milk, or your oats? And yeah, man, show you how you do it. No problem. For the fun of it, all right. Okay, cool. All right. So living in a community where which community is actually divided. Where you have your leader, your gang leader, and the gang leader brings in the guns, and the young men are actually. Hey, I remember, being about 17, 18, and I was there on the veranda cutting a friend mine hair. Yeah, man. Usually cut his hair and he would cut mine. Right? Yes, Joe. I usually cut his ear and he would cut mine, right? And then I realized that I saw a group of men were like going up the road, and all of them had this black, long looking, probably about a foot, and some of them like half, yeah, some black thing going up the road. And then it was very peaceful for a long while. I mean, for years it was peaceful, no gunfire, nothing at all. And then it just started out this night, right? And that was the longest encounter of gunshots I've ever heard being in this community, right? Where in which I was unable to go to church across the road, right? I had to take bus to go to a different church outside of the community, because one side of the community was actually fighting against the other. And even when the dog crossed the bridge to go over on the other side, they would shoot at it. It was so terrible. I remember one night I was coming from church, and the guys usually put a cardboard box, and a stick, and they would put it over the light that is overshadowing the pathway, right? So what the box does is when they put it over it, they would actually unhook the stick, so the box would be over the bulb, right? So what it would do, it would make the place dark, So one evening I was like coming home, and I realized that half of the street was like dark. It was like the light was gone and all that, and I was there wondering whether or not I should pass. So I stopped. Yeah, I had a said before, church man. I could stop, and I look and I saw two young men about my age, in the corner with one with I remember distinctly. One had a Uzi, and one had a start or a shotgun, right? And um, the first when he stepped out in the corner, I say, Lordy, I hate this. I say, I hate this. And him say, no man, Christian, just take your time and go on, man. All right, cool. So I'm say, Bobs, I'm walk a few yards, probably about 500 yards, enter into my house, lock my door, and by the time I could put down my Bible and thing and say, yes, God, I reach home, thank you, Lord. Boom. Um, I heard gunshots, and gunshot rang out for about 2 hours straight, right? um yeah, I rejoiced because nobody actually died, right? And the next morning everybody was talking about the whole episode of gunshot between different sections of the community, right? How does this come with the whole empowering series? All right, remember I said before that the men were actually my age group, right? At that point in time, I was in about probably about 10th grade or 11th grade, right? My main aim and focus was to become someone within business, accounting. But after about when I left high school, I tried it out for about a year, and I realized that it was really boring. Yeah, sitting in the office doing accounting work, balancing books and computers and looking at figures. Yeah, it looked good being in your shirt and your tie like Joe Munoz, right? But at the same time, I just felt boring. I mean, the papers I had to deal with was like pink and white, and when I go to my bed in the night, I mean, I see pink and white papers, right? So you must know that it's just on my brain, pink and white, until eventually I went to teachers college. All right. So it stayed that way for a very long time, and I realized that a lot of the young men my age group, they prefer to be on the corners, needing out the hand middle, right? Smoking weed and showing the guns to each other. I remember I was shot at one point in time, right? Never told anybody about this, but I was shot at one point in time because I was considered being looking at the wrong direction too long. Yeah, I look too fast. Right, boom. I have been through several stages in my life where which I've said that boy, this is it. I remember one point in time I was coming from I think it was my nephew and I went on the road to buy some roller wires because before I started to deal with fish, I usually keep birds, pigeons, right? I usually keep pigeons. I mean, like my next door neighbor usually quarrel with me because he had a car and he would park the car on my side of the pathway, so as to leave his side nice and speck and clean, right? Yeah, that's what we live in, right? So he would park his car beside my wall at the front, right? So my gate would be there, and then his car would be there, and he would have his side of the road clean and clear, and so everybody could like be on the wall over there and talk and congregate. But my side had his car. But the way they structure the wires where in that community, the light wires actually run across my walling section, right? So whenever I had my birds, and I had a lot of birds, I mean like 75, 80 pigeons in one coop. So in the mornings, I would get up, I would clean the pigeon coop, I would feed them, right? And I would let them out. And when I let them out, they would all go up on the light wire, right? And whenever my next door neighbor would wash the car and park the car, whether it be in the middle of the pathway or over at the side, right? My birds would actually go up on the top and it actually poop on it, right? So he always quarreled about my birds messing up his car. All right. I remember I actually sold a pair of birds and it went as far as probably about 50, 60 miles from where I live, right? The person actually lived somewhere in St. Catherine, somewhere past Spanish Town. I don't remember exactly. And within about a week, a week or two, I saw the two birds back at my yard in the coop. Right? The person was careless enough to get the bird, to allow the bird to actually fly away. So the bird actually found back my yard because my yard was like a haven for birds. Right? So I love birds. Right? So I'm just sharing this joke, right? So I'm just trying to show you how everything connects. Right? It's a long story. So if you're up to the long story, stay tuned. All right. So I don't have only like plain pigeon, like ugly looking pigeon. I have pigeon they call top notch pigeon, beautiful pigeon, the pigeon with the tail cock up in the ear. I don't remember, right? Pretty pigeon, homing pigeon, all type of pigeon you can think of I have because just as how I go around now when I purchase fish, I'm placing different aquariums because I like these fish. That's what I usually do with the birds. So boom. So I had the birds and I compartmentalize the coop, right? Some pigeons over that side, some pigeons over that side. Some young men, about probably about roughly about 9 year old, and at this point in time, I was like teaching at high school. I was teaching at high school, and I was in my mid probably about 22, 23 there about, but I love birds. uh, trust me, although the story is long, Joe, that every single percentage of it is true, right? I gave some of these stories in some of my videos before we had actually look at where it began, right? But I don't think I've actually mentioned this. All right, so here is it now. Here's the thing. Now I'm at my house and other friends in the community also had birds keeping, right? So we would actually keep birds and we would actually switch birds so as to get just like how you have like for example you would have an Oscar fish, a male, and I would have an Oscar fish, a female. We would do the exchanging and when the babies come, we would actually yeah, pigeons. We would actually exchange the pigeons so as to get babies. So we would end up have this kind of brood. It would be awesome. All right. So my friends shared with me that they were going around and stealing pigeons, right? But I live right on the borderline between one section of the community and the next section. So whenever there is like antagonistic attitude between the section, I would be in the middle. It is right on my house top, right at my gate that the border is. So some guys, the guys from over the side, which mostly encompass where over on that side, they usually stay at my house top and look across with their guns in their hands, and they will look and they will, in the night, in the hours, you could hear them on the rooftop. Yeah, yeah, man, cool. All right, so with all this now, the guys actually start to rip off my friend's pigeon, right? Remember, I started about my nephew and we went to the shop for some mesh to make extend my pigeon coop. All right, so the funny thing about it is that it was really funny. Let me reach to the point in which we went for the mesh. So my pigeon started to breed a lot, right? Now the population actually was like rising very high. All right, so my coop had to extend. So the coup was extend, but before the coup was extend, right? My nephew and I went to the hardware to get some wires. We got the wires, and we were walking from the in the middle of one section of the community, coming up to where I live. And then I saw like some flashing light flashing at me. And when I recognized, I saw like somebody was like running down and they were like shooting. But they were not shooting at anything that moves, right? So the best thing, you had to run, right? So I ran into a friend's house of mine, a very good friend. We went to primary school together. God rest his soul, he's dead. Um, I went into his house, right? So I went into his house and we were there talking. Wagwan ultimate fish keeping show. Nice to see you, was. Not try for you know, to share the backdrop to the men empowerment challenge, right? Hopefully I can see a video with you shortly where in which you will be in the kitchen cooking, showing everybody that men can cook and men can do something positive in society. Okay, all right. Just like the fish. Well, not like the fish. I never sell them, right? I trade them or I give them away, right? Yeah, my mother always quarrel say this pigeon, you know, and you know she never too like that one because you know pigeon doodle encourage rats. But I had a little procedure to deal with that, right? I had a little procedure, so I never had any problem with that. Okay, all right. Condolences where? All right. So I went. Oh, my friend. Okay. So I ran into my friend's house, and you know he was like one of the boss man for the area in it, like this side of the community in which I live, right? So cool. So he had, remember, this is a society, as I said before, live into a community where in which crime and violence is the order of the day. Nice seeing you, Thin Blue Line Guardian. Nice seeing you, nice meeting you. Appreciate you being here. Okay, I appreciate you being here. I'm just giving you the backdrop to men um empowerment series. Okay, so I was actually sharing a story with myself, right? So I ran into my friend's house, and I ran into my friend's house because like some terrible shot a lick, man. I mean gunshot, and you could see the light, but it's very far, so it wouldn't reach me, right? But you could see the lights flashing, right? The men were like coming over, right? Anything that moved, they were shooting at. So it comes to Pops, living aquatics, nice seeing you, bless up, bless up, bless up. All right, so men were like coming over. So I ran into my friend's house. And when I ran into my friend's house, he was there, and we started engaging a talk, and he took out his gun and he placed it on the table. Illegal gun, yes, illegal gun. I placed it on the table and we were talking, and I said, boy, and I'm calling my name and say, boy, you know, say, Baba, and he started telling me the whole John or so I go on. And then I heard his friends outside calling him. Remember, you know, we're talking about men empowerment, right? The whole idea of men making the wrong decision in life, right? Okay, so he said, boy, like let's say that my name John. He said, boy, John, I want to tell you, you know. Say no, before they say like they would say, Kirky, you know, say the man them down there say a fire gun shot off for it. And he would answer and say, yeah man, make me so far, man, deal with them case. And then he respond say to me, yo, them take me for idiot, you know. Me them want to go there so go fire gunshot off a man and man shoot me and kill me. You're not idiot. So, you know, we laugh because he might one of the bad man them in my place. Which one me live. And for hear him say so, it was like, yo, for real, I am bad man. Yo, oh, yeah. Living aquatics is a nice place, a beautiful place, and you should try that one day. It has a lot of sightseeing to do, a lot of nice sand beaches, rivers, a lot of endemic fish, a lot of fish that you can actually view. Scuba diving on the north coast is very awesome, right? You can try that. Okay. All right, so continue the story. So as soon as the shot actually died down, you heard the police. Right? The police came in, and you hear the siren. So my friends say, "Hey, what do I? Here a Kirky, or here a John. You know, call me by my yard name. Boom." And I say, "Boy, yo, me nah, they not that what them doing, you know." So him hide him thing and him go outside, and him, you know, when the police came, you know, you always go around and you look, you look, you see what police they there, and police ask question, and nobody got shot, nobody got injured, just evidence that gunshot was being fired. So boom, he they actually went, and in the night, minutes after 1, they went down by the area that was firing shot at the area in which, you know, on this side. and a lot of shot fired. It was sleepless in Seattle. Trust me, it was awesome. In the sense that awesome band, right? So flip the page few years after, right? If I should say that out of the, let's say, 50 men that I've known within this life is alive, I would be lying. On average, probably about 10 out of the 50 that I have known within this era of life is alive. Most of which no, 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 no. Living aquatics. I'm talking about the men empowerment. I'm talking about men doing something positive in their life. And that things that you do that is negative is not worth it because it will only cost you your life. And I was just referring to a story wherein which I was telling you a part of my history coming up, what some persons would say in the hood, so as to for you to understand the analogy as to where I'm getting at, based on where I'm coming from, right? I've seen my students pass in the prison. I've seen my student actually saying, "Sir, wagwan." I've seen my student you know, on those programs, when you're dead, they have the special programs. They died in violent circumstances because they engaged themselves in acts where their life was snuffed out because they never did anything positive. Now, the whole idea of men empowerment is to share that. Listen, where I live in Jamaica, roughly about 82% of all students within the universities are normally women, right? If you have, yeah, roughly about 82%. It goes up slightly or goes down slightly, a little bit. It depends, right? A woman. You realize that men are now kind of taking the backbench as to what they want to do progressively as far as certification is concerned, right? I spoke to some students before this whole COVID thing started, and I asked them, so I asked them, uh, what is it that you want to do when you leave high school? And the first thing, okay. So what you need to do, Joe, is to get a water heater, or probably you could just, you know, cover the tank and keep it warm. Living aquatics, I am coming to you with regards to that. You say you practically don't do water changes. All right. The main empowerment, I intended for this to be half an hour and then I go into some fish talk after that. But it seems as if I'm being dragged out. A little bit over, so give me until about 35 minutes into the stream and then we'll talk about a little bit about fish. All right. So as far as the main empowerment challenge, the men empowerment engagement in which I wish for persons to participate in is that I want men to assert themselves in society. I want men to say that they will go just beyond getting a 9 to 5 job. I want men to go to school, get certified, and have a good hold a good job. Hold a good job. Qualify for a good job. So when they go into the workplace and they say that yes, I will hire you, you can say, all right, you will hire me, but I want 95,000, sorry, per annum for my salary. And if they say that they can't give you that, you walk out and they literally beg you to come back. I want men to believe that they can be a good family provider. Not only sit down at home and say that oh, my wife is working and we can pay the bills, so I no longer have to go out and stretch myself. I want men to realize that they should be the forerunner for the home, right? Women should help them, right? They should be able to sustain the family. So if the woman come home one day and say she's tired, she can't be bothered with work, you should be there to say, okay, and darling, let me rub your foot, all that, stay home, take a pay cut, rest yourself, I will manage that. I want men to understand that they are the primary goal, I call it sectors, or should I say. They should be the primary individuals in whom the children look up to say that, listen, I want, the saying they say, I want to be like Mike. They should say, I want to be like that, right? Hold on a sec. Okay, 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 okay. No, I'm not sexist. I'm not sexist. What I'm saying that too many men, I don't know where you are, just men fish. What I'm saying is that I want man to assert themselves, right? Women are taking charge. Yes, there's no problem with that. There's no problem with women being leaders, prime ministers, CEOs. There's no problem with that. I have no problem with that. But what I have problem with is when men sit down at home, not doing anything, and expecting the woman to go out and to come in and take care of them. It should be both of them going out and work. It should be both of them taking care of the family. It should be both of them managing the situation at home. Right? No one person should be left with the burden to take care of the family. That's what my thing is about. Men empowerment is about men taking charge of their education, right? They don't want anybody to turn and twist them around, especially their employers, right? So when they go work, they're not supposed to come home and say, boy, daddy, you know, so lose my work. And you sit down at home 7 months or 12 months, can't get any work because you never finish high school, or when you finish high school, you never go to university because of particular issues. That's where my mainstay is at. Where I live in Jamaica, most of the young men in my class, as soon as they finish 11th grade, I'm not even looking at the chat right now. I'm just passionate about this because I want men. What are you talking about? Just my fish? Am you crazy, man? What you want to say, boy? Men must not work, men must not get education. Men must not work, men must. No, man, men must work. By the sweat of your brow, you should eat bread. So if you say that I'm sexy as well, you're open. That's open for your assumption. But men must work. Men must get education. Men must take care of their family. Men must take care of their family. Men must have some progressive. So is it okay for men to end up in prison? There are more men in prison than women. Why is that so? Because women are taking the initiative to get educated. What are men doing on the corner selling coke and crack and participating in criminal activities? Men must be positive role models for their children. Right, exactly. Living aquatics. Men must take care of their family, even if their wives are big CEO, but men must work. If you're a farmer, be the best farmer there is. If you're a carpenter, be the best carpenter there is. I am not saying that every man should go out and get a big job that make them having jacket or whatever. If everybody do that, who will be there to fix the furniture? Who will be there to fix the light? Who will be there to take up the garbage? Who will be there to sweep up the yard? Who will be there to attend the garden? But men must work. Men must do positive things. And these positive things enhance our society for us to, one, to achieve economic stability, one, to be progressive, three, to be goal oriented, and four, to help to guide those coming up, not to be lazy. Oh, I don't understand what you're saying, just my fish. I'm not saying because Aquaphone, the reason why I'm shouting is because just my fish is saying I am living in the past. How am I living in past by encouraging men to be positive role models in society? Right? Put down the gun, put down the drugs, put down the whole idea of gunmanship, put down the whole idea of oh, me are the boss or me. And they must be gentle. Men must treat their women with respect. Men must treat their family with respect. Men must be role models. Right? Men must go out and men must work. Just my fish. Just my fish. Men should be positive role model in society. Any man at any time in their life who believe that it is now time for them to sit and be lazy at work is not a man. Expectation have never changed. Never ever change. Right? I am not saying that women can't do things. Women can do things, and there is no reason for women not to do things. Women are assertive, and that's the reason why men and women go positively together, because both of them achieve one set goal, and that's having a positive society. If the burden of society, especially economics, is left on one particular sex, whether it be male or female, we will end up with what you call it now, an imbalanced society. Right? Right? So I can assure you, right, that if in Jamaica a man decides that he's not going to work, a man decides that he's not going to go to school and finish up school, a man just decides that he's going to stay home and he's just going to live, get each day in try to get something to live, I can guarantee you that the family life that he thinks that he will have with a lady will not be there. Because if I have a daughter and my daughter carries home a young man saying that she likes him and she's gonna get married with him, she's gonna live with him and whatever, right? The next question is, I'm gonna ask the young man, how will he be able to sustain my daughter should in case anything happen? Yes, yes, I understand where that gets Joe, right? Now, if women want to work, yes or no, that's their prerogative, right? I am not one who advocate that women should stay at home. I don't believe that, right? Women do whatever they feel that they can do. If they feel that they can become managers, if they feel that they can become CEOs, if they feel that they can become executive, no problem. The problem I have is that some men are having this defeatist attitude, believing that society owes them something. So as a result of that, they sit back and wait on society to pay them. No, I'm not saying that men are lazy. I never say that. And you never hear it. It's the first time I'm mentioning that four-letter word in my entire stream. I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say, all right, listen, I teach at an inner city school. An inner city school where if I am going to school to teach on a particular day, right? And if I drive the wrong way, chances are I will get a gunshot in my car. I'm even at a particular school where sometimes when I reach school very early in the morning, I see men running through the schoolyard with some high power weapons. I teach at a school where when I'm walking out through that school gate, right? Men that I usually teach I'm teaching for 24 years. Right? I'm teaching for 24 years within the same school. And some of these men are students in which I usually teach. Exactly. Living aquatics, but I'm not even bringing living aquatics. I'm not even bringing the Bible to it. I'm not even bringing religion to it. I'm just bringing the fact that men should be positive role models for everyone, both male and females within our society. You know, in some, no, I never said that. I never said that just my faith. I never said that, right? Women have their parts to play in society. Women role are not to have babies and stay home and take care of family. No, them days are gone. I'm never ever saying that. What I'm saying is that both men and women have a responsibility in society to groom the young men, the young men and women that are coming up. Living aquatics, probably probably a lot of women will actually disagree with that statement because we are living at a time where they call women liberation, whereas women are now at liberty. They are free to access any type of employment within society that they choose once they are qualified without any prejudice. Exactly. Exactly, Aquafunk. I am just saying, right, Aquafunk, that men should be role models. There are situations that exist. Just my fish. There are situations that exist where it's a man might not be able to work anymore because he is sick. He has a disability. He have a situation where in which he just cannot afford to work. Right? Exactly. Exactly. And that's the reason why Aquafong, a lot of persons got so disappointed in Bill Cosby based on what happened. Right? A lot of persons look at Bill Cosby and comedy show as something like a role model of what a family should be like. Put everything aside regarding his cases and his guilty and all that. But Bill Cosby actually mirrors what a family should be like. His wife, a professional, he, a professional, and he had several children. And they never had any, I can't recall, they never had any housekeepers, right? But you see where it flow in which the responsibility and the guidance in which they provided their children was of such that their children went to university, went to college, and some, I think, one or two of their kids ended up, not being on the street and now. But you understand that is just the dynamics of family and society. Right? So we should understand the context in which we speak. When I say men empowerment, right? We have too many men in our prisons. Whether you live in Europe, whether you live in the Caribbean, whether you live in America, we have too many men in prison. We have too many men on the street side selling drugs, selling guns, selling bullets. We have too many men being accused of criminal acts, right? As men, we should be positive role models, not only to those around us, right, immediately, but to those that are coming up in society that is not born as yet, because they're going to watch the news, they're going to read the news, they're going to follow the news that are happening in the past. Your story will eventually be a history. And that history will pave the way for somebody coming up. I can bet you any money that there is a child out there, a teen or a young adult, looking at Aquafong saying that I would really want to be like Aquafong. Why? Because of his style. Right? Someone out there probably might be looking at the fishman and say, boy, I would like to really be like this guy. So whatever you do in life, it should be something that positively rings a bell with somebody that would put them in the future if life lasts that long, right? In at least a step forward. to achieving their goals in whatever area, dimension, right? Yeah, yeah. Society, there's a lot of men that have actually abandoned, the no, 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 no. Probably you're looking at it differently, not just my face. You're looking at it differently. What I'm talking about, you see, in Jamaica, you can't leave the children at home. It's illegal. You go prison. They will charge you. You can't leave the children alone in the house. It's illegal. Just like where you're at. Right? What I'm saying is that men should be the forerunners. They should not they should not run away and leave their responsibility at home. 75% of the families in Jamaica are driven by single parents, and that single parent is primarily the woman. Where is the man? No, both of you go to work, just my fish. Both of you. If the man and the woman work, whether the man work less than the woman, right? The man should go to work same way. The woman go to work same way, right? And both of them put the resources together and get a nanny or someone to take care of the child. Spend time with the family at times, but at the same time, they're building the bond with the family. A family don't only need economic stability, they also need social stability. No, I am not saying that we're gonna let the children run up and down, not having. Chewy, probably you're reading it wrong, You're reading it wrong. You're reading it wrong. You're reading it wrong, guys. What I'm saying is that at least the man actually started to work, right? So initially he started to work, he found a lady, the lady actually working more money, a lot of money, so the man don't have to go to work. That's your choice. The man went to school, he got his degree, he's got his qualification, and he just chose to stay home. That's a totally different ballgame. But what about the man who, after leaving high school, he decided that he doesn't want to go to college, he doesn't want to see anything more in school, so he goes on the corner, he starts to sell crack and cocaine, he starts to sell drugs, right? I bet yet he goes to Burger King or whatever and start to work there, and then after a while he say, I can't be bothered with this. My supervisor is giving me too much problem. And he actually goes home to live with his mom and live off his mom welfare check. Right? Come on, man. We are men. Men should be empowered to be positive role models. So if you're at home taking care of your kids because everything economically is sustained within the home, fine, no problem. Be a positive role model. Right? Be at your home, not on the corner selling drugs, not on the corner ones and all that. That's what I mean. Right? That's what I mean. Hey Joe, you're a funny guy. You're really funny guy. You're really funny guy. Just my fish. I hope you understand. You see, it's nice having this conversation, because as men we feel as if the responsibility shift when economics roll in, but we have a part to play. And as I said before, the part that we have to play is not necessarily only economics, but also setting a precedent, having a good social, networking with the systems that are in place with your kids, right? When is the last time a father actually, well, for you, probably it might be different. Exactly, Aquafong. The men are not there. If I go to my old community where I'm from right now and I check how many, a matter of fact, I don't even have to go to the old community. I can just ask my students in my class how many of them live with their mother and their father. The last time I asked a group of 22 students, only one of them alone live with their mother and their father. Sorry, probably you don't understand my patois or my language. The last time I asked a group of students in my class, right? How many of them actually resides with both mother and father at home? And I only got one response from one student saying that their mother and their father actually live together. The others say that they live with either their grandparents or they live with their mother or they live with their aunt. And I think I had a circumstance where one actually lived with her boyfriend. That's a society in which we live. Anyway, in which I live. Hank, pleasant good evening, sir. How are you? Exactly, aquatics, living aquatics, right? As men, we should be brought up. Well, yeah, we should be brought up as men to have the responsibility that should in case your wife comes home one day and say that I no longer have a work, we should be able to say, okay, no problem. Instead of sitting down and crying and going into depression, right? We should be able to say, okay, all right, I can do this, I can do this, and manage the responsibility of the home. Probably it might be too overwhelming, overbearing for you to actually say, well, listen, the economics, I can manage that. Probably you can't. Probably you're going to have to get another job. No problem. But the zeal, the willpower to actually go to say, listen, I'm going to get another job because my wife just lost her job, right? Yeah. I've heard of cases where women lose their job, right? Today, and by tomorrow, the woman actually get a next job, right? You have some men, as soon as they lose a job, they go to the bar and drink a few shots of whiskey or rum, and for days they're in depression and all that, right? Some people will just bounce back while some persons will end up in a different state of mind. Just my fish. It's a little bit complicated being in the Caribbean. As I said before, I live in a society where, to me, I would say it's a low middle income country. A country wherein which most of the GDP, or should I say, gross domestic product, I mean, employment, is like, what I call it now? It's, I should take out the GDP out of it. Let's go in the economics here, just my face. I live in a society where the society depends mostly on farming, manufacturing, and tourism. All right, farming, manufacturing, tourism, and mostly men are farmers. You have a lot of females, but mostly men are farmers, right? You have a mixture of male and female in the tourism sector, and you have a mixture of male and female in the manufacturing, right? What you have in Jamaica, right? You have more single parent family, right? There's an entertainer in Jamaica by the name of Elephant Man. He has 34 kids. When I say 34, I mean, yeah, 34 kids. Yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah. Okay, okay, living aquatics, no problem, right? 34 kids. There's no way. Joe Munoz, you're not gonna get me in trouble, brother. You're not gonna get me in trouble. I just skip that one. I just skip that one, Joe Munoz. Uh, I just skip that one, my brother. I just skip that one. He's more or less no, it's not as simple as it was in the dark ages. I agree with you. Some men are sexist in the sense that they believe that men should work and women stay at home and take care of the kids. I am not like that. I will never ever tell my wife to stay home and take care of the kids. Right? My wife is assertive in doing whatever she wants. If she says that she's gonna start a business, I'm there to support her. If my wife say that she's gonna go to school, I'm there to support her. If my wife say that she's gonna go and get a job, I'm there to support her. If my wife say that she's gonna stay home, I'm there to support her. Right? My duty is to support both socially, psychologically, and economically. Anyhow, one of those three are missing from the bunch, I consider myself lacking in my duty as a man within the house. Right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just my fish. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Right? The problem I have The problem I have is that young men in Jamaican society, I don't know if it's where you are at, probably you sound as if you're living in a well-knit community with a lot of social graces and good psychological support, economic support, and social support. But I live in a society where practically the schools are loose. The schools are loose, my brother. The schools are loose where I have students all right, there's this new thing in Jamaica, they call it lotto scamming, where which they actually call people from abroad, call people abroad, tell them that they win the lotto, and okay, cool. I'm reading Jomuno's thing. I get back to what I'm saying. Okay, cool. Exactly, Akofong. That's true. That's true. I believe that once you're in the home, even the kids when they reach certain age, they have responsibilities. Even the kids when they reach home, they have the responsibilities. You know what I did recently? I divided the days of the week. I give my son a few days to wash the plate and my daughter a few days to wash the plate. Right? So they have responsibility. They have the responsibility of tidying their rooms. They have responsibility of tidying the house. Right? Everybody have a responsibility. Nobody is left carefree saying that they have nothing to do. So what? When they reach the age in which they have their own home, they are able to manage themselves properly because they have been groomed accordingly. Yes. But it's not. You see, I end the entire hour. Probably I go a little further. I end the entire hour talking about this thing. It's a topical issue in which it needs to be ventilated, and this is the reason why I say that men empowerment, men should be able to assert themselves, get educated, go out there, be seen, be positive role models, not only to their children, but their children, right? But to the neighborhood children. There's a lot of persons that will watch this stream that will say that Raleigh is talking foolishness. That will say that what you're saying doesn't hold water, right? But what I will say is that men should be positive role models in society, right? What I'm saying is that men, there's more to being a man than actually going to prison, shooting guns, selling drugs, and being just a hustler. A man can be a positive role model in a community by going to school, get certified, starting their own business, employing other men and women, and becoming leaders in their community, helping those persons that are not fortunate to reach where they are, to reach where they are, because you will not always be where you are all the time in life, right? A lot of great men have come, have walked the mile, and have actually left. So as men, and women in society, we should be positive in charting the road of life so that others, when they read our history, they will be encouraged and will also want to be positive role models for those persons that is to follow them. Right. Men and women should be positive role models in society. But of late, just my faith. What I'm saying is that men are not stepping up to the plate. Women are stepping up to the plate. Women are leaders. Women are role models to their young ladies. Men are not. Right? Men are selling drugs. Men are caught up in criminal activities. Right? Men are not doing things that are positive. So in going forward as men, we should try to I'm not too kind of understanding through it, but me not 100% understand. Yes, that's true. Yeah, some men are portraying the wrong image, right? And their occupation is worshipping by many. That's true. Men are not to be worshipped, but men are to be respected. Women are not to be worshipped, but women must be respected. Both are, and some persons might see it different. Some persons might argue that women is up there and men is down here. Some say men is up there and men. No, I believe, yeah, they can both work together to achieve the same, yeah, to achieve the same objective, right? And be respectable. Be respectable, respectable in society. All right, let's see what Just My Fish said. I don't need to do that, brother. I'm a teacher in classroom for 24 years, and I'm always trying to get my guys to be positive. I've had guys that are gunmen, brother. I have students who are gunmen who bring them gun to school. You understand? And other gunmen come for them. I've had men are gunmen, brother. You understand? I'm a preach to them day and night. So they must put on them gun, and in a couple weeks, them dead. So when you talk about whole idea of men, when we're talking about men as if men is this and men is that, we're talking because I am actually losing the men that are within my classroom to the gun. I have had men who actually got shot up so bad. But me have a student right now, him get shot in the neck and him can't walk. He just can't move his head so. And never did no violence. It wasn't a gunman. Innocent guy. Mistaken identity. But what? He living in the wrong community. And I said him get caught up. Exactly aquafunk. Yeah. We have a last generation of um of good positive role models. Men role model. Just my face. I don't know what you're talking about, brother. I don't know what you're talking about. Depressed? Why should I depress? Students telling them that they must study their books, stay with them in the evening, help them to put their things together. A matter of fact, I write application and resume letter for them so that they can get jobs. I hook up systems in which they can get jobs. Right? They get jobs, and after a few days, they tell me say boring. How is that depressing? Right? When I go out and I try to get some what I call it now, when you do volunteer work, after a while the people them call them, they will call them back to tell you to work for them permanently. That's what I do. Right? I'm a teacher, I'm a professional. I try to change life of individual positively. I don't try to encourage them to stay within the mindset in which they have. It's all about mindset. And just my fish, I can see where you have a mindset that what I'm talking you don't agree with it, no problem, right? But I must say that I'm saddened by your tone, because I believe that men has a role to play in society. Men should be better dads. Men should not run away, leave the women to take care of their kids. Men should not engage in illegal, illicit activity which actually end them up in prison. No, we're not talking about music, Chewy. We're not talking about church. It's not about religion, right? And it's not about nothing that I'm speaking about tonight is about religion. It's just pure sociology, psychology, and economics. Nothing about religion, right? You have positive role models in men around, but the degree of in which they exist is very small. And if, as a man, I can be all right. Let me show you this. Just my fish. Let me show you this. So I drop off my daughter at school one day, and see somebody push out them head through a window of a car and say, "Wow, go on fish keep in Jamaica." It is good, right? So I'm in a pet shop, and somebody come in and say, "Oh, you fish keep in Jamaica?" Yeah, I'm in Jamaica, right? I feel good. Right? If I can make that impression as an individual, as a man, about my fish keeping channel to somebody else, I think I can make an impression on somebody who is treading the wrong way in life. To say, listen, it's not about religion to it, right? It's not about faith and all that. It's about just the whole idea of the social construct as to how you think society should go, right? I'm never depressing my students, brother. I'm never depressing my students. I try to click on this thing, but it's not working. Yeah, indeed. He's like no, the thing about this, Akokong, he has a mindset, and what I learned about mindset is mindset is difficult to change. Mindset developed over several years, and if the mindset is geared at a particular way, it will be difficult for you to actually change your mindset, right? So I have to just respect his mindset, right, and move on. All right. All right, Turi. All right, brother. All right. I don't know what's happening to this thing. It's just not clicking. Yeah, religion, society, and war. You read the book, The Art of War, Turi. You read the book, Art of War, deep, right? And it speaks to some extent of society and war and how persons interrelate and all that, right? It's a very good literature to read. Um, yeah, exactly. Oh, what's up, boss? What's up, rounded Rob? We were talking about empowerment of men, that men should step up to the plate and hold their respectable position in society, be leaders, positive role models, and encourage others following to be positive also. Also encouraging men that they should try as much as possible to practically, play the role. We have too much. uh, uh, Rounded up, Josie already, right? Okay, so I'm going over my hour a little bit. Let's go a little bit deeper. So my empowerment for men session is if persons jump at the straws or jump at the roof when we talk about women liberation and women equality and women assertion, right? But as soon as we start talking about men, that men must be positive. That men are more than women. Men cannot be more than women. To me, I don't know what happened. It seems as if Joe Munoz did something and the internet just stopped work. All right. Okay. All right. So let's put fish keeping spinning. So I have a challenge. Not really challenge to say about who can cook best or who, whatever. It's just that we try to put men in a position where they're showing, they're portraying a positive spin within the circles in which they're at, which is fish keeping, right? So you're being encouraged to follow up on that. I think I launched it, I think it was Friday. The volume on the video is a little bit low. I realized that when I uploaded it. So I apologize for that. Right? So you just put hashtag men can cook, hashtag men empowerment, and that's the essence of it all. All right. So just a little bit on fish keeping. So as far as fish keeping is concerned, right? As far as fish keeping is concerned, I have a rack around here. Um, the rack is not well. The rack have about four aquariums on it, and it is not really looking that hot, right? I'm going to be spending a great deal of time and effort on this rack behind me, where I'm going to be fixing up these aquariums step by step, right? You know, step by step, and this should be in the latter part of the year. I think probably about April, May. You'll be seeing me doing the first aquarium, where I will take probably a few days, showing you the steps I take so as to, decorate the tank, place the back in there, and substrate, plants, lights, all the works, and shopping for the fish. So I do that for all four. So that will actually the project with these four aquariums will actually take me, I estimate, into the summer, which should probably end about August thereabout, which should be interesting. Now, the latter part of the year, I intend to do a greenhouse around the back of my yard. So you see the ponds at the back of my yard, right? And they're all in a line and all that. So I intend to etch out a space where which I will actually be placing my ponds, or probably I'll be getting a new system installed where I'll be having my ponds filtration system from the start to the finish, where I'll be showing you how I go about getting that system up to pace. So the line of ponds, 55-gallon drums cut that you see at the side will no longer be there, because I'll be shifting all that around to get a nice little greenhouse with the cloth all over it, and trying to get rid of all those pescilical frogs that keep on jumping into the pond itself. All right, as far as filtration is concerned, I still be concentrating on using plants as my main means of filtering my ponds. Yes, some means of mechanical filtration will be there, but mostly plants I'll be using. I intend also to get before the end of the year a flagship fish for my channel. This should be practically a stream by itself. Do you really need a flagship fish for your channel? I've seen other channels done it, so I'm just following suit. I'm copying their style, where I'll be choosing a flagship fish I would love for suggestions to be made. I'll be placing that suggestion flagship fish in the community post. So you'll see that very shortly. Thank you very much for staying for the stream. I appreciate it. It was a healthy, heartfelt discussion. I loved it. Just my fish. You're still my friend. And I appreciate the contribution to the discussion. It was a healthy one, and I enjoyed it. And part of being part of the social sciences in my studies, I have learned sometimes getting emotional can actually rings a wrong tone in a discussion. However, one must be mindful that whenever you're passionate about something, sometimes you tend to over exert in your emotion in expressing yourself. So don't read much into that. Okay, so I'll be on tomorrow morning. Hopefully very early. I don't know how many of you will actually be awake at that point in time, but I'll be on tomorrow morning. From Sunday to Friday, I'll be on in the mornings. It's like a talk show because you won't be seeing me like how you see me now. You will be seeing my avatar, right? Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bless your heart. Thank you very much for participating. In just watching, you have participated. I appreciate it. One love, Ari from Jamaica. Cool.